Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. So today we are sitting down to film part 2 of our preconception series, and today we're talking all about lifestyle tips. So things that you can do for your lifestyle if you're preparing to get pregnant.
Alrighty, so we're just going to jump straight into the tips.
Yeah, so before we get started, I'll mention that at this point in time I'm 27 weeks pregnant, so I'm nearly at the very end, well, getting the car. I'm at the end of the second trimester. I think officially the third starts next week from week 28. I'm having a pretty easy pregnancy, luckily.
Yeah, you haven't really
Not much to report.
No, nothing to report since the video 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, still doing plenty of activity, feels very mobile and doing lots of squats and things
You
in
might have to do
preparation
like
for the
a
baby.
vlog. I think people might like that. Comment below if you guys would like to see like Beck's pregnancy vlog maybe.
Yeah, and we were also actually thinking, or I was thinking of doing a video about prenatal exercise. So I've been doing a fair bit of exercise lately, not for any type of like weight control or anything like that, but just for general health and for the baby's health and preparing for birth. So if anyone would be interested in that, that's also like a future video that may happen if you guys want it, so leave a comment below. But yeah, other than that, we will jump straight into the tips.
Okay, so our first tip is to reduce stress. And we talk about this in a lot of videos, but basically when we're stressing too much, we're taxing our adrenals, we're producing more cortisol.
And it throws our female hormones into a bit of chaos. So definitely being stressed out at work or stressed out at home, or just even the way that we think about things happening in our lives can produce unnecessary stress is a problem. So doing things to either like reduce the actual stress load, like maybe opting out of things that you can get out of, or saying no to certain situations that are stressful would be a good idea. And if you can't do that, on the flip side, you can manage stress better, because I think a lot of us could manage it better. Like, I could definitely as well. So things like joining a really relaxing yoga class or meditation class, things that are going to get you into the relaxation, de-stress zone.
Yeah, because you kind of want that whole period of time before you get pregnant to just be like you're kind of lying low a bit, not like overworking or...
Yeah, well that's the ideal scenario where our bodies are most fertile as women, is when we're feeling really relaxed and happy. That's not to say that we have like no stress coming up in our life, but when it comes, we're kind of dealing with it as well as we can. So if you're feeling really frazzled and like you're running from one thing to the next, it's definitely not the optimal way to be feeling when you're trying for a baby. So try to manage stress as much as possible.
So the second tip kind of leads on from this one as well, and it's about not over exercising or making sure that you're not doing super intense exercise. So during this period of time, you want to be doing more of that low impact kind of exercise. So like you were mentioning, yoga, even Pilates,
just walking. You know, you don't have to go too easy on yourself, but definitely things to watch out for would be things like training for a half marathon or marathon, intense CrossFit type exercise, especially if you're doing it very frequently. Things that really like max out your body's physical ability. Because fertility for women is really about being in a situation of low stress, of plenty of food, of relaxation. And when we're really over-exercised and our bodies are stressed physically, it sends that signal to our body that this is a dangerous situation.
Yeah, not a good time to have a baby.
Yeah, like we're running from predators, having to run really fast and really far.
And how often do you hear of people that do marathon running that also don't have a regular period? So it's not going to be good just for having a regular cycle, which is...
Yeah, well when our bodies are stressed, it's like fertility is the first thing to go. So it's not to say that you don't have to, like, that you should stop doing exercise, it's just not things that are fully...
And I mentioned like yoga and Pilates before, but even doing resistance training is fine. It's just more those really intense kind of almost the endurance type.
Yeah, super hard endurance exercise is going to be the killer. And I mean, if you're a runner, that doesn't mean you don't run, you can just do shorter runs.
Yeah.
Our third lifestyle tip for preconception is to consider dropping coffee and alcohol. So,
It's unpopular.
So look, coffee is just another one of those things that's going to stimulate our bodies to produce cortisol and put us in that sort of fight or flight position.
It's like put on the accelerator.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think it's necessary to cut out all caffeine if you're trying for a baby by any means, but I mean, if you want the best chance possible, it's probably a good idea to reduce caffeine as much as you're comfortable to do so. So if you're having like 3+ cups a day, it would definitely be a good idea to bring it down. And if you could just have a morning coffee, or if you're already just having one coffee and it makes no difference to have, you know, herbal tea instead, well, you could swap that.
Yeah. Because I think we're living in such like a coffee culture. It's not like uncommon for people to be having like 3 to 5 coffees a day, especially if you're working and people are going out all the time to get coffee, and that's like
or you have the big coffee with like the double shot.
Yeah,
it's just an easy area to sort of tackle. Well, it's not easy, but it's an obvious area to tackle. If you're looking to improve your fertility, is to take away excess stimulants. And the other piece that I mentioned is alcohol.
Yeah. So I mean, you're already going to be like 9 months without alcohol, so this is going to be like super unpopular. But yeah, obviously minimizing alcohol as much as possible is going to be beneficial. Most of us already know that alcohol is toxic for our body, so it's an obvious one.
It is, and I mean, again, it's not necessary to like go completely dry, but if you are, you know, apt to have a drink several times a week, say after work or in the evenings, it would be a good idea to cut that back to maybe just on a Friday night having a glass of wine and things like that. Another one that's just like an easy target but not necessarily fun.
So our 4th tip is to reduce your toxin exposure. And when we're talking about toxins, some of the main things that come to mind is heavy metal exposure. Also like looking at things like the cosmetics that you're using, making sure
care stuff.
Yeah, making sure that it's as green as possible. And then the other one that is a really big one is mold. So looking around your home and seeing where there could be sources of toxicity,
mold, especially
mold,
like that black mold. Or
so like looking in your shower or like on curtains, or you know when you close up your house and you come back and it's got that really musty kind of smell, like that's an indication that maybe you should be looking for mold in your house and seeing where you can
and you can get people to come in and assess your home as well, because it can be difficult to know if you've got a mold problem, but living in a mold-ridden house is definitely going to put your body under quite a heavy toxic load. What other things?
Those are the main things I think of, and then you could even like do things to detoxify your space, so like bringing in plants.
Getting a water filter is something that we've talked about quite a lot. So that's one way that you can reduce exposure to heavy metals and things like that. And really a big piece as well that we mentioned before is all the personal care products that we use, especially as women. Things like body butters and body creams and hair products, our makeup, everything can be such a huge source of artificial junk.
Well,
and there's so many chemicals that we apply to our skin if we're doing that whole routine of, you know, full body wash and exfoliating in the shower and using body butters and all the things can definitely interfere with our hormones. So we would say try to make the switch to, you know, using minimal products, because honestly you don't need that many products, and focusing on green products.
Yeah. Then the last one, just to quickly kind of put in there, is also avoiding your BPA. So no water bottles, no plastic containers, no heating in plastic containers. I feel like we say that really often, so we're just like...
Even like the BPA free products, I would just not even bother. It's just glass or stainless steel.
Yeah. And once you buy it, you don't have to think about it anymore. Like just buy some nice containers and it's done.
Yeah, and if you do still go to the coffee shop and things and get takeaway coffees, you can take a glass keep cup, because another source of BPA that we've spoken about a lot is those takeaway coffee cups where they put, you know, hot liquid into a plastic lined cup. So that's another one that you want to avoid to keep your hormones really healthy. So the very last lifestyle tip we have for preconception is one that should be obvious, but I think we always need to be reminded about, is focusing on good quality sleep. So if we want our hormones to be balanced and our cortisol rhythm to be really nice and healthy, we need to make sure that we're getting a good amount of sleep, like at least 7 hours of sleep per night, and having like a good sleep routine as well, where you go to bed at like vaguely the same time most nights, like having a good routine.
Yeah. And if you do struggle with sleep, we do have a whole video and a blog post about that, so we can link that below as well. But just off the top of my head, making sure that your routine doesn't involve blue light, so cutting out blue light as much as possible. You could wear the blue light blocking glasses, making sure that you're not watching TV or working on your computer like right up until bedtime, so giving yourself at least half an hour before you go to bed just to like chill.
Yeah. But I mean, at the end of the day, I just feel like a lot of us these days with Netflix and all the great things you can watch on YouTube and online, a lot of us have become night owls, and we like to stay up till midnight or past midnight watching TV series and things like that. And unfortunately, it's really just not good for our health. And if you're looking to conceive, it's a really good idea to get into a routine that's, you know, going to bed at a reasonable hour and having that structure.
And you're gonna like feel better overall for it anyway, so it's not just like
so you feel so much better. I feel like life feels like a big shambles when you go to bed at 2 a.m.
And then like you might even notice other little benefits, like maybe a little bit of weight starts to drop off, or like
for sure,
better moods.
Yeah, and for me, I think, I mean, I'm not really sure why I didn't get any morning sickness, but I would say part of it, I felt that was making me feel so good throughout the first trimester, is that I was good at, you know, maintaining a good sleep routine. I always got a good night's sleep. I was eating healthy, you know, getting in plenty of protein and things, you know, in meals. Just really feeling supported. And I think, you know, a lot of women have a very rough first trimester, and it can, well, I can see some links potentially with lifestyle choices such as staying up all night long. I think, well, I'd feel pretty bad in the morning if I stayed up till 3 a.m. because your body is under so much more pressure and so many changes are happening once you do fall pregnant, that if your lifestyle is very haphazard and you're already putting a lot of demands on your body to adapt to a crazy schedule, it could just be that much harder. So yeah, just try and treat yourself with a lot of care, basically.
So those were our 5 preconception lifestyle tips. If you guys have any questions about anything that we mentioned in this video, you can leave them below in the comments and we would be happy to get back to you.
And yeah, again, if you're interested in seeing any pregnancy update vlogs or a video about exercise during pregnancy, then let me know below and I'll see what I can do. But other than that, we will see you in our next video. And our next one in this series, by the way, will be about supplements.
So that's common.
And we'll talk about folate and folic acid and all that good stuff. So we'll see you in that video.
Bye guys.
Bye.